Hi everyone, Michelle Giannato, Vice President and Patient Advocate for the nonprofit Auto Brewery Syndrome Information and Research. My late husband's body would convert the carbohydrates that he ate to alcohol and he would become legally intoxicated. He passed away eventually from secondary complications from this disease, and I'm here to tell you about Auto Brewery and my story in little bits and pieces. One of the questions that I get from the support group of people who have this condition is, how can I help? It's a number one concern for family and friends of a loved one that is suffering with this disease. They sometimes feel helpless because they're not living with the person and they want to help, but they just don't know how. When my husband had a seizure in bed, he was vomiting and aspirated because he was laying on his back during that seizure. And when I had called 911 and the paramedics came to my home, they, quickly assessed him and, stabilized him to the best of their ability. But there was medical supplies on the floor and, they were just ripping apart things and throwing them and, trying to attend to him. I didn't really care about the mess in the bedroom more than I was concerned about him and surviving that seizure. I had my friends and family rally for me, and so many of them met me at the hospital and followed me in the ambulance. And my sister had called and said, what can I do? How can I help you? And I thought, oh my God, there's so many things, and I don't even know where to begin. And my head is on being in the ER and being by his side and hoping he survives this seizure. And what I had said to my sister, and I know this might sound strange to some of you if you've never experienced this, but I said to my sister, can you go to my house, rip all of the linens off the bed, the comforter off the bed, and just clean up the bedroom? He had vomited everywhere, and I don't know how long I'm going to be at the hospital, and I just want to be able to come home and go right to bed. And I don't want to have to deal with cleaning up the bedroom. And my sister said, no problem. And that little bit of help that she did, it took so much stress at the end of my evening, because I was able to come home from the hospital in the middle of the night and just go right to bed. And everything was washed, dried, folded, vacuumed. Everything was just cleaned up. I mean, I felt bad that I asked my sister to clean up vomit, but she later told me it wasn't that bad. It was pretty much contained, and she threw everything in the washing machine. But a lot of people struggle with, how do I help someone that's going through, the complications of Auto Brewery Syndrome? How do I help the caretaker, right? Because the caretaker is a 24/7 job. So here's some suggestions that I could make. And, obviously you decide with that person and your relationship with that person what is acceptable. So some of the things you can do is make small, no carbohydrate meals. If that means making a few packages of food, like mostly proteins, that you can put into smaller packages, and they can put it in the freezer. You label it with the date, what's inside. This way they're just taking food out, heating it up, and they don't have to worry about cooking a whole meal. You could help with laundry, right? If they allow you to use their washer and dryer, go in and start doing the laundry. Maybe take the laundry to your home, wash it, dry it, fold it, bring it back to them. Maybe run a few small errands, pick up things from the grocery store, pick up medication, fax a document for them, walk their dog, right? If they have pets, make sure the pets are being fed, make sure they have enough dog food. When you're taking care of someone with Auto Brewery and they're in an active flare meaning they have really high alcohol, the person who's suffering with ABS, the caretaker is trying to make sure that they don't fall, they don't hit their head, they don't have a seizure. So sometimes just sitting with them and helping them through those moments, or helping them walk their loved one to bed and making sure they're okay. Those are ways that you can help. Other ways is you sit and literally babysit the person who is suffering with a flare so the caretaker can take a shower. I can't tell you how many days went by that I could not take a shower because I was afraid to leave my husband alone on the couch. It was terrifying. I left the doors open. I had the shower curtain half open. I was constantly watching him. It's just awful because, it's not a baby that you could put in a crib. You're talking about a full-size adult. There are many things that you can do, and I would say, talk to your loved ones, talk to your friends. Don't be afraid to ask, how can I help you? What can I do? What small thing can I help you do? Maybe it's dust. Maybe it's vacuum a room. Maybe take the kids for a night and babysit and take them out of the home. I would have had, oh my God, the things I would have asked for. I did have friends and family that helped me, but Auto Brewery is not a recognized disease by our medical community. And when I called my medical insurance and said, I need a caretaker to come to my house for 2 hours a night and just stay with me so I could go to the supermarket, pick up food, maybe cook a meal, take a shower. They told me that I was not entitled because this is not a real medical condition. And if I needed a caretaker, I had to pay out of my own pocket. I also needed help showering him and dressing him. He was in a flare, an alcohol of 300 for 3 days. I was spoon feeding him. I was trying to give him a shower. I couldn't hold him up in the shower. It was so difficult. These are the things that you can help with. And if you have a concern of how I can, how do I help someone who has Auto Brewery, just reach out to the person and say, what can I do? Because any little thing that you offer would be immensely helpful. Anything that you can do. Reach out to me if you have any questions. You can go on our website, autobrewery.org. You could download case studies. Just FYI, this disease is now on the gastroenterology board exam. So it's a real disease. We're asking questions about it, and it's being taught in medical school. So we can no longer say, we've never heard of it. We don't know anything about it. Maybe you haven't caught up. Maybe you don't know. That's okay. We will help you catch up. We will help you understand this disease. We're here to help each other. Thank you.